All right, guys, so today what we're going to talk about is 3 companies that I am not happy with. 3 builders out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is just my personal opinion by dealing with all the builders out there from KB Home, Beezer Homes, Toll Brothers Pulte, Woodside Homes, Century Homes, so on, so on. Okay? A lot of times consumers have the misconception of, when you buy a brand new home, there's like nothing wrong with the home because it's brand new. Unfortunately, that's not true. Because when you do buy a brand new home, you have to understand the home is getting built. There's a lot of kinks that have to be worked out with a brand new home. It's not like a resale home. So don't be misled. Okay? Because if you do a home inspection report, there's going to be a lot of things that are wrong with the home. Now, you have to understand this, and this is where it really starts. When you're buying a home from a builder, okay, they don't have employees that are actually building the home. Basically what it is, you have corporate, then you have your sales team, you have your design team, then you have your construction team, which is your superintendent. Now the builders will actually hire third-party companies to build your home. You have companies that will lay down the foundation. You have framers, okay? You have the roof guys, you have the stucco guys, you have the plumbers, the electrician, right? So you have all these trades that come in, and you have to understand that all the trades, they get paid by piecework, so they're not getting paid by the hour. So what happens is now they are forced to hurry up and finish the job because they want to move on to the next house because everything is piecework. Now I've done this before in the past as I was a framer, 20 years ago. I remember when we framed the house, there was like 4 or 5 of us on a crew, and I think we only got paid like $2,600 or something like that to frame up a house. But then we would have to split up the $2,600 between the 4 of us, sometimes 5 of us. And the guy that was running that project, right, or team leader that was doing the framing, he would get paid more money because he was responsible for all of us. And back then, I was just a guy with a hammer just nailing wood or nails in the wood and framing up houses. So I didn't get paid that much, but it was a great learning lesson. Same thing, with the AC work, right? This is what we call rough-ins. You got the guys that come in and rough in. You put in the AC unit, you move on to the next house. The more that you can do in one day, the more you're going to get paid. And that's the reason why these homes are getting built so fast. So how it works is when it comes to a brand new home, okay, you have to understand the builder, which is the corporate company, has a sales team, right, that sells you the product. Then from the sales team, you go to the design studio. You have a design studio team. Then now we also have the superintendent that runs and manages the project. So his job is to get all the trades to get in, make sure all the build times are running seamlessly, which is a little bit hard because what I realize a lot of times with superintendents, when a superintendent has more than 20 houses, that is very hard to manage. But also corporate doesn't understand this, is that they just look at the numbers. The home has to be done by a certain time. So everybody's trying to rush to get everything all done. And that's why when you do an inspection on a new home, sometimes there's a lot of things that are wrong with the home or you may not be happy with the home. Now I'm going to give you 3 builders that, matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to give you 4 builders that I'm not happy with, okay? Now, when I say I'm not happy with, it doesn't mean I don't like their product. I just don't like their procedures on how they deliver the product to you as a consumer. So what I mean by that is, let me walk you through the steps when you're purchasing a brand new home. So typically builders, when they build your home, you will have the option to do the frame walk, and they should be walking you through that property so that way you can see exactly the functions of your home, the components of your home. Some builders don't do that anymore, which is, I would highly recommend that you do that because this is where I want you to take pictures. But typically what happens is once drywall goes up, because permits have been pulled, and insulation at that point, right, you're going to do your first walk. Then we have a second walk. Okay, the first walk allows you to walk through the property, and it says it in their contract, right? Allows you to walk through the property with the superintendent or customer care, and if there's something during the walk that you're not happy with, you'll point it out, they'll get it fixed by the second walk, and once you sign off on that second walk, then you're clear to close. You're saying that you're happy with the product, that you're going to close. Now, all the builders do have warranty. They do have a customer care department, right? They do have the bumper to bumper. That's great. But I'm going to tell you this, okay? Richmont American Homes, okay? This is how they do it. You have your first walk, and you want to do a home inspection. The reason why you want to do a home inspection is because you are not mechanically inclined. I'm not mechanically inclined. I don't know all the components to the home if it's all working, right? From all the electrical outlets, is it wired correctly? Are all the window panels installed correctly, right? Believe it or not, if you install the window incorrectly, and this happens all the time, instead of reflecting the heat, you're bringing in the heat, okay? So that's just an example. You have your first walk. Now that you're at your first walk, you're going to be walking through that property, but 99.9% of the time, consumers, they're not really sure what they're looking for. They're only looking at cosmetic stuff that they're not happy with, like paint chips, texture, and that's pretty much it, right? You're turning on your gas or your stove, but you're really not checking the main components of your home. That's why we want to get a home inspector to get in there, because they're actually checking the bones of your home. They're climbing inside the attic. They're checking if you have the right insulation. Does it meet code, right? Is the AC working properly? But not only if it's working properly, is it blowing out enough cool air from the supply? Because there's a ratio from the return and the supply line. So these are things that you're not going to know this as a consumer unless you are a home inspector or if you are in construction. So typically what we would do is do a home inspection prior to that, so that way you know exactly what's going on. So that way when you do your walkthrough, you have a template, you have a guide. You can walk through the home, and the things that you do see that you're not happy with, you can pick those things out, so that way the superintendent can write down the list of all the things that need to be done. Okay? Now, Richmont American Homes, what they do is, no, you can't have an inspection prior to it. You can have an inspection after your walk, your first walk, then you can bring it to our attention on the second walk. But the problem is this: when you're doing your first walkthrough, they specifically tell you, whatever we put on this to-do list here, when you come back for your second walk, we're going to get it done. We have the checklist in order for you to sign off on your home. So if you're doing a home inspection after and there's something major, they're not going to fix it. What they're going to say is you need to go to customer care and report it. And the problem is that even though that you are doing your walkthrough and you're pointing things out, 9 times out of 10, a lot of these superintendents, they're so backed up with work and they have so much down pressure from corporate saying that you got to close this deal, you got to make sure this is done, all these things are done. So what happens is they end up taking it out on you as a consumer, and not only that, they hate when agents go there because they know that we're going to pick this thing apart, right? And it's just an uphill battle. What they try to do is pass the buck, and they just try to fast talk you. And this is just real. I'm just telling you how it is, okay? And I'm only telling you this is because I care for you, and I want to make sure if you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of purchasing a home, you need to make sure when you get a product that's delivered to you, the last thing you want to do is move in your home, and now you got to contact customer care service and, pull a ticket, and you got to sit there and wait and schedule for somebody to come in to fix these things. You shouldn't be doing that, okay? Now, so going back to Richmont. So what they do is they let you do the inspections all you want, but at that point, on your second walk, if it ain't on that list, they ain't doing it, okay? Now, another builder that I've noticed here is Woodside Homes. They've gotten really, really creative here. They'll let you do your home inspection. You'll have to fill out a request to do a home inspection, but there's certain requirements. And this is true for all builders. The requirement is that the home inspector needs to be licensed, insured, and bonded. But what Woodside Home has done now, they have requested that your home inspection company to be licensed and bonded and insured for $1 million. Now, 99.9% of all home inspectors don't carry that type of insurance policy. And the reason why is because it's not worth it for them, because it's so expensive. Now, there are a couple companies out here that are licensed and bonded for that much. And if you're buying a Woodside Homes, let me know and I'll be happy to refer you. But also, this is the same company that they'll let you do the inspection, but you'll have to do it during your walkthrough. And again, if it ain't on that request for repairs during your second walk, they don't have to fix it. Now you're forced again to go to customer care. Another company that does this is Century Homes. Now, D.R. Horton, they do the exact same thing. However, what's cool about D.R. Horton, even though that they want you to do the inspection after your first walk, they're actually pretty good. They just go back and they just fix everything because they want a good review. But probably the reason why they do this is because they want to have the upper hand, which means once you sign off on the request for repairs, if it's something that they can't do at that time, they're going to say, no, we can't do it. Okay? Now, the next question is, what happens if you do a home inspection after, but there's something majorly wrong with the home? Okay? At that point, what will happen is we're still going to close out of this deal, but then now you have to go through customer service, right? Customer care, which is, I don't understand why a builder would do that, because now you have another department that has to handle all the customer service, all the backflow, because what you did was have the superintendent just push this product on the buyer. Now the buyer has to deal with customer care. Now corporate has to pay another company, another department, more man hours to handle this. It's just ridiculous. If you do everything all up front, consumers happy, not only that, you get a good review. Now there are upsides to some of these companies out here that I'm very happy with, and you're not going to believe this. The #1 customer service here in Las Vegas for a home builder, believe it or not, it is KB Homes. Yes, KB Homes, they restructured everything with the president, and every single department gets a survey. Now, if they do not get 10 out of 10, on every Monday meeting, they get called out. VP of Sales reads it all out. What's going on? Customer service is unbelievable. Another customer service is Beazer Homes, Toll Brothers, and Pulte. That's right. So guys, that is my rant for today. And if you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up too as well. And if you like more video content like this, just let me know. I would be happy to create more. Other than that, until next time, Chakits and be blessed. Are you thinking about selling your home, but you have no clue where to start? Look, I understand. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, my name's Chakits. I specialize in social media marketing. I specialize in sales. This is all I do. If you have a property that you want to sell, it is very important that you actually contact me, because I'm going to show you exactly my 21 steps, my proven steps to get your property sold for top dollar. I have testimonies after testimonials. So if you are considering selling your home, you need to give me a call and let me show you my process on how I can get you top dollar and sell your home quicker and faster than any other brokerage out there. All right, see you guys at the closing table.